Welcome you to Porch Talk. This is an Untapped Vinyl. I've got my right-hand man here with me to my left. I got Monk.
Hi.
And joining us over the interwebs is Ham Bagby.
What's up, guys?
Man, just doing it, living.
Awesome.
Haven't seen you in a while, man. Good to see you.
It's good to see you, Monk. How you been?
Man, I've been all right. I went through some things, but I'm getting better. I'm getting
I
better.
heard.
Yeah, things going good, man. How's family?
Everybody's good. I get the boys this weekend. Me and my dog, Donna Summer. You've never met her.
No.
Out here in Pell City.
Well, very cool. Well, man, was the last time that y'all were together? Was that on the boat?
Oh no.
No. I think the last time I saw you in person was probably at the old Druid City Brewing Company.
Yeah, probably was. I was thinking it was either that or the night I saw you over at Crestwood Tavern. But I think I've seen you since then.
Oh, well, I don't even remember that.
I was with Josh Iyer.
Okay. Was I still married?
Oh, I don't know.
It used to be. I lived so close to there when we had our house in Crestwood that I would not count what I was drinking at all, and I would walk home.
Oh, gotcha. I get it.
Well, dude, Ham, to catch up with you, what you been working on music? Still pushing all filler?
Yeah, all fillers. I'm still trying to. I mean, it never got any kind of review. I didn't have a publicist on it or anything. It was. It did okay. I had a good time. I mean, I love it. It's one of my favorite things I've ever done.
It's a great relaxing listen.
You like it?
I do like it. Yes.
Okay.
I was listening to it today, as a matter of fact, second time around. So yes, I really do dig it.
I was trying to explain that to a lot of people who heard it and said they didn't quite get it because it's not the same as Trying Not to Die. I mean, it sounds similar. They both sound similar, and they're both supposed to sound similar. But all fillers, I think, a little bit. It's got some darker songs, and it's got some weirder stuff, and it kind of pokes into mental illness territory and substance use and stuff like that. But it's still kind of positive in my opinion. So I don't know. All filler was
what song was it? Was it either? It was either. Can't remember. I think it's "She Loved Me," the slower song.
Yeah,
brilliantly written, lyrically beautiful.
Thanks, man. I was surprised that people liked that one as much as they did. It's not a funny song,
No, it's not hard fucking drugs or my drunk friends or whatever.
It's not dumbass friends.
Dumbass friends, not my drunk friends.
That dumbass friends. That has been the song. Like when I'm introducing Ham to, I was like, I think you'll dig this.
Yeah.
When I was showing you haven't met Barney yet, but he's just outside of Nashville. When I was trying to get Ham connected with those guys, and I was like, check this out. And Barney wrote me back after listening to that. He's like, I'm gonna pull the rest of this album up. I love this. Yeah, I mean, you're totally right, dude. It's a roller coaster of all filler. And man, recent conversation I was having with Abe Partridge, the way he does a show is ups and downs, fast songs, slow songs, fun songs, sad songs, because that's the way life is.
I had been listening to Abe more because after we first met, Alan, and I'd heard his stuff. I'd heard some of his stuff before. I'd heard the Black Flag T-shirt Lament song before, and a couple of other ones, and I liked his stuff, but I hadn't delved deep, and I started listening to him a lot when after I met you, and I listened to his episode of your podcast, and and I got so into it that he played a Monday night at Dave's in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
I went to that show. I went to that show, and I was like, the person I was with, I was like, look, it's just gonna be a lot of sad songs. You know, I don't know what we're about to see. A lot of sad songs, a lot of stuff about, you know, mental illness, stuff like that. You know, Abe's stuff is so like honest and real, and just like scorchingly honest and real. You know, he played all those songs, and the banner in between songs was so just well placed and crafted so well. I cried probably 3 or 4 times when he played, and I think he played like 2 hours straight. He didn't stop.
Yeah. I took a friend of mine. He had only ever been to one live show, and he had spent most of his adult life locked up. And I was telling him about it. He was playing at the art council here in town, and he was like, "So, what do I expect? I've never really done a quiet show." And I was like, "Man, you're really just in for a treat. I'm just going to let you walk in blind." And I look over 2 or 3 songs in, and he's kind of like, he's rubbing his eyes, and like he was getting real emotional. And like after the show, he came up to me and he was like, "That was one of the most real performances that I've ever experienced."
Yeah, and that show that he's talking about, the Columbus Arts Council, I booked the show because Abe had his artwork downstairs in the main gallery, so we had him play the night of his opening, and whoever was doing the sound that night, they were letting somehow there was a radio bleeding through very faintly on the speakers, and Abe would be, you know, finish up a song, and then he would talk about how, like, what the hell is that? Can we get rid of that? Is there any way we, you know, had a little fun with it for the first song or two, and then he just kind of stopped talking about it. But every time he'd go back into a song, no matter what it was, you never heard that singing. It was pop music. And I was like, you never heard it because he was so into what he was doing, and you were so involved in what he was doing that you just didn't pay any attention to it, and you just heard it.
Yeah. It's definitely a performance to where it really, like, it's not made, like, it's made for a quiet room.
Yeah.
He's gonna captivate you, and it's like it's all the air is gonna be taken out, and all you're gonna have is Abe. And I've got an episode that actually drops tomorrow, and I was asking about that, and I was like, man, it's kind of rare. You know, you step into a room with you. How did you craft your show? How did you get to this point? Because he really hasn't been doing it that long.
Yeah, that's another thing about it that's so wild. He has not been doing it very long at all. And he had heard, I mean, like I introduced myself. We had never met before. And he had heard of me, and I was like, it didn't seem real. Like it didn't seem like I would, you know, run in the same circles as this person who, you know, just blew my mind for.
Yeah, he runs with James Mullis. You
know? Yeah. He was, yeah, James talks about you all the time. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, James.
Well, dude, before we start running into the chucker, I wanted to step it back with y'all, and I've told Monk, is like I was born 15, 20 years too late. Because like West Alabama then, and like all the chucker and all of that, and the Dexateens, like I've told you, Ham, is like, I wish I could have been at every single Dexateen show.
Oh my God. I mean, I saw the early lineup, and they were intimidating back then. I didn't know them very well back then, in the late 90s. But it was loud and it was crazy and it was always packed. And you know, Saturday night it was loud and it was crazy and it was really packed. But it was outside, so it wasn't quite as, you know, claustrophobic. I don't know how many people there were there on Saturday night. Honestly, it seemed like there was like 500 people there.
Just going by the video, it seemed like there was quite a few, and like I'm so glad that Bo and all the guys at Druid City, like, I'm thankful they recorded it because I couldn't be there, but like because of that video, I got to experience it. Right when I saw the Chucker event, Dexateens, I pull up the video and there Ham is, and I was like, oh, he is living his best life right now.
I played in Lincoln, at 5 o'clock, Lincoln, Alabama, like 15 minutes from my house. And I got done at 8, and I drove to Tuscaloosa. Like, I was like, I'm going to get there right in time for, I got to see the Penetrators, I got to see Hooper, and I got to see the Dexateens. And a lot of people didn't think I was going to show up, so I was excited. I got to surprise some people. It was nice.
Yeah,
I was thinking people I hadn't seen in 20 years. Crazy.
yeah. You really ran that Tuscaloosa scene heavy. You had the ham jams and everything going in Egan's. And
I had an open mic. I hosted open mics for about 10, 12 years. But the last 3 or so years that I was in Tuscaloosa, I hosted it at Green Bar with my band. We were the open mic hosts, and there was a drink special and there was a food special. So there was half price nachos and there were $2 pints. And it was just like the last 3 years that I was hosting open mics there, it was crazy. There was like so many people out every Wednesday night to be at my open mic.
Yeah.
And I was starting out with original. I mean, I'd always written and I'd always had, the intentions of being an original artist. But I think like early on I was playing cover gigs because they pay. And I really didn't take, music, like the original music, as seriously as I did like playing a cover show in the beginning, until I started, hanging out with people like Sweet Dog and Elliot and learning about, indie rock stuff and DIY stuff and what, the real stuff really is. Because I think at some point I thought I was going to be Prince or something like that, but it's just not, it's not going to happen. But I have a pretty broad musical influence too, so I may not ever be Prince, but I'll be me, and they'll be just fine.
Well, yeah, dude.
You'll be Diet Prince.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're already well on your way. Trying Not to Die or All Filler or Shit's Crucial. Like if someone was to put that on before I even hear your voice, your guitar work sets itself apart. So I mean, you're well on your way, like with the way that you express yourself with your instrument.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, props to that.
I wish I could put those. I wish I had a little bit more side work these days. I'm not in a band playing just guitar right now. And I'm going to try and fix that in 2024. But we're also doing another record. And this one is probably going to be called Return of the Tall Guy or The Tall Guy Returns. I don't know.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But it'll be like Trying Not to Die and All Filler and Return of the Tall Guy are going to be like the Star Wars trilogy, where Trying Not to Die is A New Hope and All Filler is Empire, and this new one is going to be, Return of the Jedi. So I need teddy bears.
Very cool.
That's going to be great.
I need to throw an octogenarian into a pit. I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of you as a guitar player, I've come to see you live many, many times. Seen you acoustic probably more than everything. But one night, and Alan referenced this earlier, one night, Model Citizen played on the Bama Bell.
Yeah.
And there's a good photo. If I can find it, I'll give it to Alan so he can post it or whatever. But there's a good photo of me hanging onto the rafters with my mouth open like I'm rocking out. And then Matt Patton is standing right next to me playing and singing. And then you're behind Matt.
Yeah.
Playing guitar as well. So do you remember what that was? Was it like a certain song, or did you play the whole show? I don't remember.
At that point, Model Citizen, when they played, which they were already not playing as much as the Dexateens were playing, and Matt's in the drive-by truckers now, so it's even harder for them to make Model Citizen happen. And but at the end of their show, they would play "Just Give Me Some Kind of Sign."
Yeah.
And then in the middle of that song, they would hand the bass player would hand off the bass to somebody, and Matt would hand his guitar off to somebody in the crowd, kind of like the Dexateens do with Teenager.
Yeah.
And he handed it to me, and I just, I'm holding Matt's guitar. That's, and so you start playing,
Yeah.
get into it.
So that had never happened before. Like you didn't have a history.
I wasn't planning on it. No, I was just up there.
Yeah.
I was up front. I was up front watching one of my favorite bands play, and
Yeah.
because you don't
I'll have
see.
to find that photo and get you to post it or something along with this episode or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
And I don't know if Ham's face is in it. I think it's just your hands and a guitar, but I remember it being you, so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, man, last time, first and last time I saw the Dexateens, it was at Avondale, and like I probably wouldn't have went. Well, I was podcasting, and Dexateens closed out that day, and the last interview I did was with Patton, and then right before Dexateens go on, I'll go out. Ham's not a hard guy to find, and so I just go stand by Ham, and he's like, "This is probably my favorite band," and I was like, "Well, I'm gonna be right here because you're gonna be the guy to be by for this show," and I'll kill her.
Still my favorite band after all these years.
And that night was cool because I mean they called Taylor Hollingsworth up. It was almost like a revival. If Brad Armstrong would have been there, I think that would have been like almost every iteration.
I remember that show because everybody had like their logo displayed up on behind them and on the screen behind them, and all the bands did. And then when the Dexateens got on, they played
80s NASCAR.
Yeah, 80s NASCAR clips.
It's been like that for a while, though, I think. That the Dexateens have put the NASCAR behind them.
Yeah, you had Dale Earnhardt kicking ass behind them.
So when I need to get that clip of have you seen that clip where the pace car comes out and Dick Trickle lights a cigarette?
No.
It's on YouTube. It's really good.
Wow.
That's what I want.
What the worst name ever in the world, Dick Trickle.
Yeah.
Only second to Dick Butkus.
Yeah. It always got him on ESPN though.
Yeah.
He never was shit. But they always said like, Dick Trickle was, 27th or whatever.
You gotta mention Dick Trickle. If he's 35th, you gotta mention him,
Well, I don't know really who takes the head here, but I wanted to take me back to Tuscaloosa, and that West Alabama sound, and that's one thing that really sets Dexateens apart for me. Is that's what I think about when I think West Alabama. It's like if I was trying to put my finger on it, I think Dexateens. I think
Dexateens have a really big. If you want to just follow the chronology of it all. And how that because there's a lot of bands that are kind of spawned from just hey, we like the Dexateens, you know what I mean? You don't think about they have influences too. So there's a lot of early Dexateen stuff that it's demos and stuff like that. I mean they don't have a whole lot of direction, but you could tell that they really liked old classic rock, old country, and they were crazy. They were all crazy about this band from Auburn called the Quadrajets.
Yep.
And if you've ever heard
that last episode,
yeah, me and Monk, we did an episode that might as well have been called the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
This should have been the 6 degrees of Dexateens.
Yeah. So the Quadrajets were kind of essentially over, I think, when the Dexateens were starting to make moves. And when they got their deal with Estrus Records, somebody in production land and when they did the Headphones record was are you just y'all are a band, y'all are somebody, and they and this is has been told to me from several of them, like how it just how it all went. But also, they don't sit around and talk about the Dexateens all the time, so like it's just no. It's like so obviously it's like a lifelong, like you just kind of piece together the story. Yeah. But it was kind of like in the studios where they were kind of like, we can't just be the Quadrajets. There's already a Quadrajets. So let's figure out who the fuck the Dexateens are. And I really think that track 1 of that record, Cardboard Hearts, is kind of like the blueprint for what the Dexateens are. It's that drive-in, punk beat with the riff that is like this country bend, and the harmonies, the vocal harmonies, and just the 2 or 3 guitars just getting after it, and it kind of track 1 of Red Dust Rising is Pine Belt Blues, and that song's got a really, like, it hits you, like, and they hit you immediately, and they drag you in, and they don't let go of you for the full length of that record if you're listening to it.
Yeah.
And if you saw them live, it's like usually it'd be 45-minute sets of them just kicking the living shit out of this crowd who just could not get enough of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were at the Chucker, if they were at Egan's, or if they were at wherever I'd see them, it would always be like, just the sweaty ass Dexateens on stage, just giving it hell, and Elliot knocking over a mic stand, like, and then like turning around and being like, "Fuck yeah!" like to the band, and then like turning around and his mic stands down, so somebody in the crowd has to pick his mic stand back up so he can sing again. I don't know. I've never seen anything like them in my life.
Yeah,
like 20 years.
Definitely live, and to think about the family tree of everybody that's come from the Dexateens. Why aren't the Dexateens drive-by truckers right now?
Oh yeah.
Why aren't they of that status? Whereas I think they.
And it's because certain things happen, and people make decisions, and it's hard to be everybody'd have to be all in all the time, and Elliot had kids first, I think, and then like lineup changes, people quit,
people move off to other bands.
Yeah, Patton ended up in Drive By Truckers. Elliot wants to focus on being a cabinet maker, and
Lee's doing his thing,
and being close to his wife, because that's really important. Family's really important to him.
Sure.
Which there's nothing that is an admirable thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's talk. You've talked about the other albums, like the album to me that means the most with Dexateens is Single Wide.
Yeah.
And it's so far removed from what everybody was at that point had known about the Dexateens.
I think Single Wide says a lot about who Elliot and John are as songwriters, and the way that they can go in and do something, either as like the full electric band or with one acoustic guitar and present something vulnerable and real, which everything is vulnerable and real. Like it's very much a, like, these are my hopes, these are my dreams, these are my fears, like the religious themes that Elliot touches on, to like just like the personal demons that John talks about. Like it's just there's a lot of that kind of stuff in the catalog.
Yeah.
And you'll get a lot, you'll read a lot of interviews with them where like Elliot will talk about how he just thought John was such a great songwriter, but I don't think Elliot realizes how much impact a song like Granddaddy's Mouth has on a Southern audience.
Yeah.
Especially, a Southern audience who likes independent music and wants to find some kind of identity with a band. they just resonate very.
Yeah. Yeah. And I interviewed Elliot for Oprah magazine right as the Teenage Hallelujah record came out, which I think is like the perfect representation of early Dexateens and single wide. It's like perfect mesh.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, no, I wasn't with the Dexateens when you were. I came in a lot later. So that's my favorite record is the Teenage Hallelujah, past single wide. Red Dust Rising is amazing as well, but you know, the Teenage Hallelujah record, I think kind of brings together, it's kind of a maturity record for them. It shows where they've risen to.
Yeah, and it's one. I mean, it's like John had quit the band for a little while, and he's not on Teenage Hallelujah or the Sunsphere record.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear, I mean, you can hear his absence in both of those.
Yeah,
but they are also very strong selections and you know, I mean, like. I love this band that has like a bajillion badass records, and I want like one more like Red Dust Rising, and I just, you know, but I mean, like, how do you get them to, you know, sit down and write it? How do you get them in the studio?
Yeah, it's gotta happen organically.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I think even after all these years, Red Dust is still my favorite record. But it's the one that I'd seen them live, and they weren't my favorite band at the time. And when I heard Red Dust Rising, I was like, "Holy shit! These guys!" I heard it on a Discman with the tape deck adapter in a 1992 Toyota Camry.
Wow.
And it was like a test pressing too. Sweet Dog gave me a test pressing at Decade Music. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I'm making references to things Alan can only imagine. There used to be a music store right where Druid City is now. Druid City Brewing Company is now, called Decade Music. we all hung out. We all hung out there a lot more than we spent money there, but we love that place.
Yeah. R.I.P. to Oz already.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
Man, what about like with what is Bo Hicks like with this Chucker event? This was I think the 14th anniversary of doing this event. And Monk has shared about it in the past, but I mean, now that the Chucker is gone, does it feel like there's a void in Tuscaloosa? Has it been filled by Druid City Brewing?
When the Chucker closed, it was 2003, and we all just kind of, I mean, we didn't have the same room as we did there, but I mean, like, it's pretty much like Egan's is the place that became,
you
know,
had
the new
that,
Chucker.
you had Back Porch.
We had the Back Porch a little bit, but it closed. It closed about a year after too, 2004, 2005, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I only got 2 years of the Chucker because I moved to Tuscaloosa in 2000. The beginning of 2002. So I got to experience the Chucker. I mean, I saw some damn shows there. I saw Reverend Horton Heat, Hank 3, and and it was really cool. The other night, I was sitting on the couch, and I told my wife and I were talking about the Chucker, and I said there was one night when I saw this band that blew me away, and I've never seen them since. And they were called Blip. This band was freaking amazing. And I remember them being up there, and they had a female keyboard player, and it was just
Jane Crow.
And I didn't realize that
they played it.
They played that, but then is it Aaron from Blip follows me? We follow each other, and I didn't even realize what his Twitter Instagram handle is Blip Angel. Didn't even realize. I was like, holy crap, the whole time this guy's been following me, and we've been like, you know, liking each other's stuff. That band was so amazing.
They're
But I
great,
mean,
yeah.
I saw a bunch of local bands there. I remember there was one night I was hanging out at Boo Radley, which was down in Temerson Square,
Yeah.
a little removed from the Chucker. And this guy comes in and sits down, he and his bass player, and they were supposed to play the Chucker that night. But he said we walked in and there was like 4 people there and they were all behind the bar. He said nobody else showed up. It ended up being Gavin DeGraw, who ended up making a name for himself. He was supposed to play the Chucker, but he was like, it wasn't his scene, I don't think. But I mean, I don't know. I think the Chucker was kind of accepting of everybody, though. You know?
Oh, absolutely. I never got to. I didn't have an outfit by the time they closed that was ready for the stage. I don't think.
Yeah.
So that was why I never played there. I hung out there all the time. I'd go play gigs, and then I'd end up I'd go, well, I'm not going to bed right now, and I'd go to the Chucker and go watch the show there. I saw the drive-by truckers at the Chucker.
Yeah.
And I was really like, I was adamant about being loud back then. And I was like, those guys are too loud.
Yeah.
But that was when Isbell was in the band, and it was amazing. And I watched them play for about an hour and a half, and
that was a small stage too.
Yeah, I turned to my friend and I was like, man, this is fucking amazing, but I've got to get out of here. They are killing me. It's so loud.
Yeah.
There were barely any people there too, so it was like even worse.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think
with no bodies to absorb everything.
Yeah.
And I think that was the case with a lot of shows at the Chucker, was the noise, because I remember Reverend Horde Heat being so loud, it was almost ridiculous. But I was against the wall, so I guess that helped me out. My friend who was with me was like, "No, this is like way too loud." It's just you were in a big hallway.
Yeah.
At a Chucker.
So
it was crazy.
Kind of like Egan's.
When you would pack
no, not like Egan's, really.
No, when you packed out,
you'd have to go by the band to get to the bathroom.
Yeah, it was bigger than Egan's. It was probably that where the stage is and everything. That was probably bigger than the entire Egan's is.
Oh, okay.
Like the whole building, but but it was still like just this shotgun from the stage to the back where the dartboards in the bathrooms are. And when you packed it full of people like sardines, it didn't matter how fucking loud it was. It sounded great in there.
Yeah.
But if there weren't a lot of people there,
do what now?
If there weren't a lot of people there, it was a little much.
Yeah.
And I think like Bo was telling me the story of like milk and cookies at the Chucker. It might have been you.
No, it was Michael Stipe when REM played. This is the story I heard. I was not there.
Okay.
But Michael Stipe, apparently REM played the campus somewhere, and then Michael Stipe invited everybody back for milk and cookies at the Chucker. You heard that story?
You know why he did that?
What's that?
He's an Andy Kaufman fan, and at the end of Andy Kaufman's Carnegie Hall special, he put everybody on school buses and took them to a cafeteria and
Got you. But I wonder if Michael Stipe went there.
I think he did. But the reason he did that was because he's a notorious, huge Andy Kaufman fan.
Yeah.
He's not like a prank
and all that, them having the title track to that movie. Yeah, it was really cool. At one point, I got a chance to experience the stage at Chucker because I managed a band called Red Letters.
I remember them.
Or out of Coleman, and they did live band karaoke. And Beaner and Ken, who I was running the radio station, they were a part of Z100 in Tuscaloosa. So Beaner and Ken would go and host this thing with Red Letters, where you get up and you sing a song with the band and stuff. So I got to get on stage, and at the end of the whole thing, when somebody won, I got up and did Cake's version of I Will Survive with Red Letters. So I performed at the Chucker.
Very nice.
I totally forgot that till like right now.
I remember the Red Letters. That was a good ass band. I'd go see them whenever they'd play. They played at the Back Porch, didn't they? And they played at the Chucker, and
they played at the 4th and 23rd.
Yeah.
Because our drummer was from Southern Ireland, and he always say 4th and 23rd.
Yeah. I remember that bass player was playing a Marshall bass amp, and I said, I said, "Hey man, what do you think about that Marshall bass amp?" And he said, "It's shite."
Yep.
Man. Anything else to cover about like just West Alabama? I was going to shift it back to Ham and just talking about what he's got cooking. Anything else y'all would like to add about just West Alabama and just that part of history in the '90s, early 2000s?
I think when you have, I think when you still had like, I think a lot of it had to. Well, I just don't know. Like, it's just people just like hanging out in spaces where they feel seen, I guess. And I think the Dexateens is a really easy band to identify with, but I think there's also some amount of that in a lot of the bands around Alabama that ended up coming out around the same time, like with Blaine's band and Vulture Whale and
Vulture Whale.
Yeah,
man. Oh my God.
Killer Records.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Wes and Jocko.
Indie rock with Southern flair from Birmingham, Alabama. But it's more like a. I mean, it's a big sound. It's like arena rock sound.
Well, I mean, they opened for the Foo.
Huh?
They opened for Foo Fighters.
Who, Vulture Whale?
Yeah, Les Newby. I think he told me on his interview on Porch Talk that like they were playing like back at Vulture Whale's prime, dude. Like they.
I don't know, man. I think you might be talking about Verbena.
Yep.
Okay.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I totally remember
Les played drums in a band called Verbena.
That's it.
Yeah, it's so weird. And then he fronted Vulture Whale. He's playing Wes from Vulture Whale, who fronted Vulture Whale. He's playing drums in the Blips.
Yep.
Shout out
and he put out his second solo record, and Wes made comment about me loving it so much because when I did Indie Zone the first time, I used to play the shit out of it, and I loved it. He was like, "Really? I'm so glad you appreciate it as much as you do." I was like, "Man, I love Wes McDonald.
I love that stage name, Terry Owens."
Yeah,
fun.
I think Terry Ohms and them is a type. I need to see it live. I haven't seen it. I think does Will Stewart play guitar in that situation? He's
in the
just
Blips.
Everything's cool.
You have
it's so confusing him.
I'm talking about Terry Ohms and them. You got I think Will Stewart's in that too.
You know what I'm talking about with Wes and with Terry and with Taylor, and it was just all what bands they're in and everything in Birmingham. It's
you were talking about a band from back in the day called Blip, and now you got the Blip.
Yeah.
We got to stop doing the same stuff, guys.
Dude, like every time I see like this, I think this is the second or third time that Blip has played at Druid City, and every time I see that, I go directly to thinking about the Blips, and I was like, "What the hell?" I can't keep them straight.
Yeah,
the Blips has got to be a nightmare band to schedule.
With all the bands that they got going on inside the band.
Yeah, you get that 2 or 3 times a year, period.
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to.
It's like the Dexateens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been talking to Taylor for like 2 or 3 months, and I was like, man, I would love for you to come back and play Porch Fest, but I really want to get the Blips. And he was like, tall order, buddy. He's like, because everybody in that band has at least 2 projects they do.
Yeah.
And who knows what they're going to be doing, because I think Will, he's got his solo, he's got Timber, sometimes he goes on tour with Pony Bradshaw. You got Eric Wallace, he's got the Firehouse, he's involved in other bands. Chris is busy, Wes is got O Elegante and Terry Ohms. I'm like, good grief, guys.
Yeah.
Do y'all need anything else?
Yeah, seriously. I love him, man. I saw him at that same show at the Dexateens that cold ass Avondale show. I guess 2 years ago, maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah, sounds about right.
But they're good, man. I'm really excited about. There's a band. I'm trying to listen to as much new music as possible, especially indie music. Have y'all heard my friends the Sick Fucks yet?
I know Breely and where she comes from. I've heard the few songs that they've released singly.
Yeah.
Full record out yet?
No.
Yeah. But yes, I dig them. I mean, Breely, I've always loved anything she did with the old paints or whatever, the Hollywood Horses. That's stuff. So, yeah.
And appreciate you opening up and like being on this call with us, because I know like you said that you were gonna have the Sick Fucks over tonight, right?
No, we were supposed to have. I've been teaching guitar lessons to Breely and Alea, and we were going to, but they were busy too. So, and I told them I was probably going to do this. So
right on. Well, good plug. I guess you do since you plugged it. They do have music available online that people can check out.
Yeah, if you go to my Spotify, it's I've tagged one of their songs in my profile.
Good plug. Great. What else? What else have you been into lately? What are some of the things that been influencing you, or man, like Halloween, or just the whole?
I've been listening to a lot of Willie Carlisle.
Excellent stuff. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. I played a show with him several years ago at the Nick before pandemic and all that. And I liked him so much. And then he went on, I think he went on Drew Cunningham's, like Drew from BMR, the She Show.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all can listen to BMR or not. Anyway, she has an all-female playlist every Wednesday night, and the guest writes the playlist. But Willie was on there one night, and he said that he was still listening to Ham Bagby.
Oh, cool.
And I was like,
very cool.
Yeah, I was like, well, I need to go. I mean, and he had like multiple records out at that point. And I went and listened to it, and I loved it. And then I got into him again because he's about to do a bunch of shows with Tyler Childers. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude, get it done. And
that's awesome.
And my kids like it a lot, so it's kind of cool to, play stuff that your kids like.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Milo likes the Dexateens a lot. Jack likes anything hard rock or whatever, but they both like Willie Carlisle, so it's good.
Awesome.
I know. What have you been into lately, dude?
I've been listening to a lot of Dean Johnson. In my opinion, put out the best record of the year. And then Cat Clyde, I've been listening to. The new Arlo Parks is amazing. I mean, there's so much new music, and what I'm getting into, my Instagram is about to change, so I'm about to become more music forward. You guys need to pay attention. And Ham, I'm sorry, but for some reason I've not followed you on the Instagrams.
That's been corrected.
That's been corrected tonight. I followed you. I was like, shit, I don't even follow Ham.
It's stupid because my Instagram is all like I forget about it all the time. It's like whenever I want, and I have my Facebook and my Instagram link. So if I want a picture on Facebook, I just go on Instagram and I take a picture and then it's up. But then my Instagram just looks so convoluted and bizarre. It's like, here's a picture of my dog. Here's a picture of my kids. By the way, I'm playing at Dave's tonight. Or whatever it is.
It's supposed to be though. That's the wonder of it. On Facebook, we get everybody's opinion about how they feel about the world. But on Instagram, we get what you're doing in the day.
Well, now,
here's a picture of my feet. I'm getting them eaten by fish.
And next thing you're on feetfinder.com. But one thing about him, and it's always positive, is you can always count on the banger Facebook post every day from him. Is he's hoping that you have a good day.
Yeah. Years.
Well, I appreciate it. I've had a good day a lot of days. And
yeah, man. Well, dude, what else has been up your alley, man? Any other bands or songwriters you've really been into lately?
I mean, I hate to be like, I hate to be like this, but I listen to the Dexateens for like weeks at a time, and then I'll get on a kick, and I'll be like, it'll be like Dolly Parton for a few days, Willie Nelson for a few days, Willie Carlisle these days has been in heavy rotation. Uh, I hope that people. Oh, Taylor Honeycutt dropped a little song today. It was fantastic. I'm probably going to listen to like 10 times tonight. I'm really hoping for a full length Taylor Honeycutt album.
Man, I think we all are.
Yeah,
she's so good.
yeah, dude, and she was such a cool friend when I moved to Birmingham, and when I was going through my divorce and all that stuff. Like she was one of those people that was around when I needed to hang out with people.
Yeah.
Is she not in Birmingham anymore?
No, they moved south to.
They live in. I think do they live in Demopolis?
That's right. But now it's
road.
But now do they even have a home because they're always on the road?
Yeah, they're on the road all the time.
Yeah, I saw her one time at the very last. What was down Furnace Fest? The Sauce Furnaces deal on the third stage, the Seasick Record stage.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell was that festival called?
Sauce Fest.
Sauce Fest. I saw Taylor. That was the only time I ever saw her.
Was it not Secret Stages?
No, was not Secret Stages.
Oh, shout out to Joe.
He played before or after Lady Legs, which is an amazing live band. If you ever get a chance to see them, I tagged them on Instagram today. So let's listen to the record.
I met Taylor after she had moved to Demopolis, and proxy because of Abe. Abe hopped on the tour bus with the Red Clay Strays, and Abe calls me. He's like, "Buddy, we're heading up to Birmingham, and we're going to be at Avondale, and we've got Red Clay Strays playing. We're going to have BB Palmer and Taylor Honeycutt, and you really should come out." And I was like, "Bet, I'm bringing the podcast equipment, and I'm going to be in the green room at Avondale with you." And man, that was the first time that I had met Taylor, her husband Josh, and BB Palmer, and man, I love all those guys.
Yeah,
great Alabama music.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of it.
Yeah, we're silly with it. And Birmingham, like, to me right now, dude, like, it's crazy. Like, you were in Tuscaloosa for a time, but now, I mean, like, you're right in the heart of it, dude. You're in the mecca of, like, what I consider music, like, not only just in Alabama, but really the South. It's like, I tell people from outside of Alabama all the time, it's like, if you want to know what's popping, like, get on Spotify and, like, find people from Birmingham. And I was like, you're going to be really impressed.
There's a lot of really good stuff. And it doesn't always have to be, Southern rock, obviously. Like, you're going to find independent artists doing stuff that they want to do. You're going to find good punk rock music and
go see a Skeptic show.
We never talk about like, there's so many good fucking local rappers, like, and they just don't. I mean, they don't have spaces to be, to do like live stuff as much. You'll have shows at some places, I guess. I don't get out to rap shows as much.
I'm supposed to have. I'm blanking on his name right now, but Fire Camino, Josh Williams, he introduced me. We all played a show together at the Upside Down bar in Birmingham tonight, and I was like, that is one thing I really need to have at Porch Fest. So hopefully, we'll have some rap entertainment there this year. Hopefully, we'll have you too, Ham. Looking forward to you coming back out there.
I already put it on my calendar, so I'm planning on it.
Right on, brother. Dude, you got anything else you want to ask?
No, I'm going to say that listen to the Dean Johnson record, Nothing for Me, Please.
Okay.
That is the best record of 2023.
Tall order, my man.
That's it. High, very high. I mean, higher than Doc Daly. high country wine.
Right on. I love
So,
Doc Daly.
Dean Johnson, nothing for me, please. That's all I need to know.
Well, Ham, I wanted to ask you, man, plug everything that you got, and is there anything else you got going on that you would like to plug? And I mean, I see you got a guitar. I'd like for you to share some with us.
Sure, I got one. You can find all my stuff. All my socials are under Ham Bagby, so you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook and on Threads. As long as that lasts.
The new thing.
Yeah. TikTok. And I'd really appreciate it if people would follow my Spotify, because I've still only got like 200 Spotify followers.
So is there a ham jam in the works?
Ham Jam is potentially going to make a return with a few modifications in late May of 2024.
Awesome.
So I'm doing 2 nights, but I'm doing one night in Birmingham and one night in Tuscaloosa. None of this is completely locked down yet. And I have no bands booked, but I'm sure that it'll all get booked and somebody will say that they oh man, we really wanted to play. And it's just
awesome.
Well, right on, man. What do you want to share with us?
I don't know, man. I got a couple of doers.
I'm here for it.
I know that comfort and consistency will save me. I come here when I'm hungry and alone, and when I'm here I know someone will call me baby. You make this Waffle House a waffle home. I never dreamed my life could be this complete. Eggs and waffles and optional breakfast meats. And I would like my hash browns topped with cheese. How could true love even possibly gonna be? I know that comfort and consistency will save me. I come here when I'm hungry and alone, and when I'm here I know someone will call me baby. You make this Waffle House a waffle home. And on my dying day, I'll sing this song to you of patty melts and cups of coffee too. The buttered toast and jams that got me through. A fulfilled life, wonderful breakfast foods. I know that comfort and consistency will save me. I come here when I'm hungry and alone, and when I'm here I know someone will call me baby. You make this Waffle House a waffle home. All right.
Hank, thank you so much for your time this evening,
Yes.
man. Like,
Good to see you, brother.
I've really enjoyed the catch up, and it was good to get like more of the history.
Yeah.
You know,
It's good to see y'all, man. I'm glad y'all did that. That felt good to talk about all that shit.
Good.
well, right on.
Next time we talk about ham.
We talked about yeah,
Yeah,
we
The whole show.
yeah
we
talked about him a little bit.
We could go some really weird places with that one.
Oh man, well, have you take care. I'll see you soon, Bubba.
Yeah,
man.
y'all be
All right.